Wake up and take back control of your life right now. You feel tired of replaying insults, sleeping on regrets, and letting small things ruin your day. Do you want clear steps to stop being pushed around by other people, emotions, and sudden events? In this talk, you will learn simple habits to calm your body. Notice and release feelings, protect your time, and focus on actions that move you forward. I will teach breathing routines, short mental checks, and daily practices that change how you respond under pressure and help you build steady confidence. Expect honest examples, practical exercises, and questions that make you think deeply about your choices. Stay with this entire video because each idea builds on the last, and missing one will weaken the change. If you want less stress, more clarity, and real progress, watch until the end and choose one action and start today. Number 1, choose peace over chaos. By controlling your thoughts, you wake up in the morning, and before you even leave your bed, your mind is already running. A text message from yesterday still bothers you. Something someone said keeps replaying in your head. You remember the mistake you made at work, and it weighs on you. Most people start their day already carrying the weight of yesterday, already letting outside noise decide how they will feel today. And this is where life slips away from us. Because if you keep giving your power to everything that upsets you, you'll never experience real peace. The truth is, peace is not something you find in the world. Peace is something you build inside by controlling your thoughts. Think about it. Every situation that has ever disturbed you started with one thought. Someone criticized you, and instead of letting it pass, you repeated it again and again in your head. You gave it life. You added emotions to it. Soon, that one comment became your mood for the day. That is how powerful your mind is. And if you do not learn to manage it, you will always be a victim of your own thinking. Control starts with awareness. Most people never stop to ask themselves, what am I thinking right now, and why? Their mind is like a loud room where every voice is fighting for attention. But you can step back, you can pause and notice. You can say, I am choosing to think this thought. I can also choose not to. That is the first key to peace. You cannot control the world, but you can control what you allow to live inside your head. Now ask yourself this. How many hours have you lost worrying about something that never even happened? How many nights have you lost replaying a conversation you can't change? That is the cost of not controlling your thoughts. You pay with your energy, your joy, your focus. And while you are trapped in that cycle, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass you by. People who could love you don't get the best of you because you are stuck in your head. So how do you break free? The first step is simple but powerful. You must train yourself to pause. The moment you feel your chest tightening or your mind racing, stop. Do not react. Breathe. Create space between the trigger and your response. This space is your freedom. This space is where you decide if this thought deserves your attention. Most of the time, it does not. Second, feed your mind with clarity. If you keep exposing yourself to negative voices, angry news, endless arguments online, your mind will naturally lean toward chaos. But when you choose carefully what you allow in, uplifting books, positive conversations, calm environments, you give your mind material that creates peace instead of turmoil. Peace is not an accident. It is built by daily choices. Here's a reality check. Some people enjoy their chaos. They make a home in it. They say that's just how life is. But the truth is, life does not have to be lived in constant tension. That is a choice. And when you say, I choose peace over chaos, you are making one of the most powerful decisions of your life. Because with peace, you gain clarity. With clarity, you make better decisions. With better decisions, you create a life that feels right, not a life where you are constantly fighting fire. There will always be people who speak without thinking. There will always be situations that don't go as planned. There will always be uncertainty in the future. But none of those things have the power to break your peace unless you hand it to them. The real battle is not with them. The real battle is inside your head. And when you win there, you win everywhere else. So how do you win that battle? You build habits that protect your thoughts. One of the simplest habits is journaling. Write down what bothers you. Get it out of your head and onto paper. When you see it in front of you, it often loses its power. Another habit is gratitude. Every time your mind starts replaying a negative story, replace it with 3 things you are thankful for. It shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. This rewires your brain over time. Also, practice saying no. Every time you say yes to chaos, you say no to peace. If someone is always pulling you into arguments or drama, limit your time with them. If your phone keeps distracting you, turn it off for an hour. Protect your environment like your peace depends on it, because it does. Let's face it, many people think peace is weakness. They believe if you don't react, you are being passive. But the strongest people are the ones who can stay calm when everything around them is falling apart. That is real strength. That is discipline. That is control. And the moment you understand that, you stop being affected by every little thing. Remember this, you cannot stop the waves, but you can stop yourself from drowning in them. The world will not suddenly get quieter. People will not suddenly stop criticizing. Problems will not suddenly disappear. But you can stop letting them live rent-free in your mind. You can choose to rise above. You can choose to guard your inner state. Peace is a choice, a powerful choice. And the more you practice it, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the less you let outside noise affect you. And one day you will notice that the same things that once shook you no longer have that power. You have taken your control back. So I ask you, what do you want your life to feel like? Do you want to live always reacting, always disturbed, always at the mercy of what others do? Or do you want to live with calm, with clarity, with focus? That decision begins today. It begins with one simple but life-changing step. Choose peace over chaos by controlling your thoughts. Start today. Pause before reacting. Notice your thoughts, decide what stays and what goes. Feed your mind with what lifts you up. Say no to what drains you. Protect your peace like it is your most valuable possession. Because it is. If you do this, you will notice something incredible. You will think clearer. You will feel lighter. You will have more energy to build, to create, to love, to enjoy life. And that is the reward of taking control of your mind. This is not theory. This is reality. Peace is available to anyone who decides to choose it. And you have that power right now. Do not wait for the world to calm down. Calm your own world first. That is where real freedom begins. Now go out there and live from that strength. Choose peace over chaos. Control your thoughts. Protect your mind, and you will stop letting anything affect you. Number 2, practice daily breathing to calm your body and mind. You cannot live a strong life if your mind and body are always restless. The greatest victories in life are not won by force. They are won by calm control. And nothing gives you that control more than the power of your own breathing. Right now, many people watching this feel exhausted, distracted, and overwhelmed. Not because life is too hard, but because their nervous system is under constant attack. Stress builds up, emotions rise, the mind races, and the body reacts. And when you live like that, you are no longer in charge of your own life. But there is a simple tool that can change everything. It costs nothing. It is available every single moment. And it can reset your state of mind in seconds. That tool is daily conscious breathing. Think of the last time you were nervous, before speaking in front of people, or before making an important decision. Your chest got tight, your heart started racing, and your thoughts felt scattered. You felt like you were not in control. In those moments, most people push harder, hoping the feeling will pass. But the real solution is to pause and breathe with intention. When you take slow, steady breaths, your body begins to calm. Your heartbeat slows, your mind clears, you stop reacting and start thinking clearly. This is not philosophy, this is human biology at work. The problem is most people don't breathe properly. They breathe shallow, quick breaths through their chest, which keeps them in a constant state of stress. Their body thinks it is always in danger, even when nothing is wrong. That is why you feel restless for no reason. That is why you feel tired, even when you sleep. That is why little things upset you. You cannot think straight when your body is sending danger signals all day long. Daily breathing practice rewires that pattern. It teaches your body that it is safe. It tells your mind that it does not have to panic. It gives you control over how you feel, instead of letting circumstances control you. Here's the truth many people do not want to hear. You cannot create inner strength if you do not master your breathing, because your breath is the bridge between your body and your mind. If your breath is chaotic, your emotions will be chaotic. If your breath is calm, your emotions will follow. And if your emotions are steady, you can make better decisions, build stronger habits, and live with more focus. So how do you practice? Start with something simple. Each morning before the noise of the world reaches you, sit quietly for 5 minutes. Breathe in deeply through your nose, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly through your mouth. Do it again and again until your body feels lighter and your mind feels centered. That one habit can shape the tone of your entire day. Instead of starting stressed, you start calm. Instead of starting reactive, you start grounded. But don't stop in the morning. Throughout the day, use breathing as your reset button. Before a meeting, take 3 slow breaths. Before a difficult conversation, breathe deeply and center yourself. When you feel anger or anxiety rising, stop and breathe until your body relaxes. You will be amazed how quickly it changes your state. What seemed overwhelming a moment ago will feel manageable once your breathing is steady. This is not just about stress relief. Breathing daily with awareness sharpens your focus. When your body is calm, your brain can think clearly. Ideas flow more easily. You listen better, you respond better. You gain patience that most people lack. And that patience makes you powerful, because the person who is calm always has the advantage over the one who is restless. Some will say, it sounds too simple to work. But look at the truth. People spend thousands on pills, therapies, and distractions, yet ignore the one natural tool built into their body. Breathing is not a luxury. It is your foundation. Ignore it, and you live like a slave to your emotions. Master it, and you live like a leader of yourself. Think about the situations that upset you. Most often, someone insults you. Traffic wastes your time. A setback frustrates you. Normally, you react immediately. Your emotions flare, and the day feels ruined. But imagine if instead you trained yourself to stop, breathe, and regain control before reacting. You would not give away your peace so easily. You would not waste energy on things that don't matter. You would choose your response instead of being controlled by impulse. That is the power of daily breathing. When you build this habit, you also start noticing more about yourself. You become aware of tension in your shoulders, of anxiety in your stomach, of scattered thoughts in your mind. Breathing brings you back into your body. It reminds you that you are not your stress. You are not your fear. You are not your anger. You are the one who can rise above all of it. And here is something important. Breathing daily does not just help you. It helps the people around you. A calm person creates a calm environment. Your family feels safer with you. Your coworkers respect your presence. People listen to you because you carry stability when others are shaking. You become an anchor in a world that feels unstable. That influence is priceless. Do not underestimate how powerful this can be. Your life can completely shift when you stop living in constant stress and start training calm into your system. You will sleep better. You will think sharper. You will enjoy small moments instead of rushing through them. You will stop reacting to everything and start creating the life you want. If you want freedom from being controlled by every emotion and every problem, begin with your breath. Nothing is more accessible. Nothing is more natural. Nothing is more powerful. But it requires practice. You cannot breathe consciously once and expect change. You must commit daily. Just as you commit to eating, to moving, to working, breathe with awareness every single day until it becomes part of who you are. And here is the challenge for you. Starting today, take 5 minutes every morning to breathe with intention. Don't skip. Don't postpone. Do it daily. Then use that same breathing practice whenever life pressures you. Test it. Apply it. Watch how quickly your body shifts and how much calmer your mind becomes. The choice is yours. You can live like most people, always restless, always tense, always letting emotions take over. Or you can rise above by taking control of the one thing that shapes it all, your breath. Master it, and you master yourself. So I say this to you with conviction. Do not wait for peace to arrive. Create it through the simple practice of daily breathing. Train your body to relax. Train your mind to focus. Train your emotions to steady. And when you do, nothing around you will shake you the way it once did. You will walk stronger, live clearer, and rise above the noise. That is the reward of this practice, and it begins today with a single breath. Number 3, build clear boundaries that protect your time and energy. You cannot build a meaningful life if everyone else is allowed to run your schedule, drain your energy, and take your focus. Every day, people are asking for your time, demanding your attention, and pulling you into their priorities. And if you do not draw the line, you will end up living a life that belongs to everyone but you. This is why building clear boundaries is not selfish. It is survival. It is the foundation of personal strength, of mental peace, and of any real progress in your goals. Without boundaries, you are vulnerable to constant interruption, constant pressure, and constant disappointment. But with boundaries, you take your power back. Think about how many times you said yes when you really wanted to say no. You agreed to help someone even though you were exhausted. You picked up the phone even though you were in the middle of something important. You stayed in conversations that left you drained, instead of walking away. At the end of the day, you felt resentful, frustrated, and empty. Not because the world is unfair, but because you never built a clear wall to protect your time and energy. And if you do not protect them, nobody else. Time is the most valuable thing you have. Once it is gone, you cannot get it back. Yet how often do people waste it on meaningless arguments, endless scrolling, or commitments that don't even matter to them? The truth is, most people are not living on their own schedule. They are living on everyone else's. And when you live like that, you can never create a life you are proud of. Boundaries are what allow you to say, this is important to me, and I will not let anything steal it. Building boundaries starts with clarity. You cannot defend what you do not define. Ask yourself, what really matters to you? What activities give you energy? What relationships make you stronger? What goals deserve your attention? Once you answer these questions, everything else becomes negotiable. When someone tries to drag you into something that does not serve your values, you can step back and say, no, this is not for me. That is strength. That is discipline. But many people struggle to set boundaries because they fear disappointing others. They don't want to seem rude, selfish, or cold. So they keep saying yes, and every yes to others becomes a no to themselves. This is where you must face the truth. If you live to please everyone, you will betray yourself. And the more you betray yourself, the more unhappy you become. Real happiness does not come from pleasing everyone. It comes from living aligned with what matters most to you. Boundaries are the bridge to that life. Protecting your energy is just as important as protecting your time. Notice how after certain conversations, you feel completely drained. Notice how spending too much time on certain activities leaves you restless and anxious. That is not random. That is your body and mind telling you that your energy has been stolen. And if you allow this to happen day after day, you will eventually run on empty. Building boundaries means deciding who and what gets access to your energy. It means being intentional about what you give yourself to. Boundaries also mean respecting yourself enough to stop overcommitting. Stop saying yes to 10 things when you can only handle 3. Stop working past your limit just to look productive. Stop pretending you can carry the weight of everyone's problems. You are not built to do everything. You are built to do the things that matter most. And when you focus on those, you not only protect your strength, but also produce work of real quality. Do not think boundaries are about shutting people out. They are about letting the right people in. The people who respect your limits will grow with you. The ones who push against them again and again are showing you who they really are. Boundaries reveal character. They expose who values you and who only values what they can take from you. And once you see that clearly, you can decide who deserves your time and who does not. Let me give you something practical. Start with simple rules. Decide what hours are for work and what hours are for rest, and stick to them. Decide how much time you will spend on your phone each day. Decide which conversations you will walk away from instead of staying stuck in negativity. Write these rules down if you have to. And the next time someone or something tries to cross that line, hold it firmly. At first, people may resist. They may question why you've changed. But stay firm, because every time you enforce your boundaries, you strengthen your self-respect. Here is the reality you must accept. Not everyone will like your boundaries. Some people will feel uncomfortable when you stop being available to them all the time. They will call you selfish or distant. But the people who truly care about you will respect your choices. And those who do not respect them were never really for you in the first place. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting the version of yourself that deserves to thrive. When you live with boundaries, everything changes. You have more energy to put into your goals. You have more time to focus on what matters. You have more peace because you are no longer pulled into every problem. You start to feel in control again. Not like life is happening to you, but like you are shaping it with intention. That is the life boundaries create. So many people complain about stress, about exhaustion, about feeling overwhelmed, and yet they never stop to see that much of it is self-inflicted. Not because they don't have enough time, but because they don't protect the time they do have. Not because they don't have enough energy, but because they give their energy away carelessly. Boundaries are the answer. Clear, firm, unapologetic boundaries. You deserve a life where your time is respected. You deserve a life where your energy is valued. You deserve a life where your focus is not stolen by every demand around you. And the only way you will get that life is by deciding where the line is and holding it strong. Nobody else will draw it for you. It must come from you. So I challenge you today to take back control. Say no when it matters. Guard your schedule. Limit your exposure to negativity. Stop overcommitting. Choose relationships that respect your boundaries. Protect your time as if your future depends on it, because it does. Protect your energy, as if your happiness depends on it, because it does. Do not wait for permission. Do not apologize for it. Stand firm. Build clear boundaries that protect your time and energy, and watch how your life begins to change. You will discover peace where there was chaos. You will find clarity where there was confusion, and you will finally feel the strength of living a life that belongs to you. Number 4, train your mind to notice feelings, then let go. Your emotions are not the enemy, but when you let them control you, they can destroy your peace, steal your focus, and keep you trapped in patterns that hold you back. Every single day, you feel anger, sadness, fear, stress, excitement, hope, sometimes all within a few hours. The problem is not the feelings themselves. The problem is when you get stuck inside them and let them dictate how you live. Real strength comes when you train your mind to notice what you feel. Acknowledge it honestly, and then let it go before it takes over your life. Think about the last time you felt angry. Maybe someone spoke to you in a way that cut deep. Maybe you felt disrespected or overlooked. That anger built up in your chest, your jaw tightened, your thoughts started racing. Instead of simply recognizing, I feel anger, you replayed the moment again and again, feeding it until it controlled your entire mood. That is what most people do. They don't just feel, they attach. And when you attach to feelings, you give them power over your mind. Now imagine if you could experience that same anger, but instead of becoming a prisoner to it, you noticed it, accepted it as natural, and then released it. You would not lose your peace. You would not waste hours stewing on something you cannot change. You would move forward with clarity instead of carrying poison inside. That is what letting go looks like, and it is not weakness. It is strength of the highest order. Your mind is constantly generating thoughts, and those thoughts produce feelings. Some are pleasant, some are painful, but all of them are temporary. Yet we treat temporary feelings like permanent truths. We say, I am angry, so life is bad, or I am anxious, so I must be weak. No, feelings are signals, not sentences. They are information, not identity. The sooner you understand that, the freer you become. Here is the challenge. Most people are afraid to face their feelings. They run from them, numb them, distract themselves, or bury them under constant activity. But what you resist, you actually make stronger. Ignoring emotions does not erase them. It pushes them deeper until they explode later. Training your mind means you don't run and you don't cling. You stand still, you recognize, you learn, and then you release. Imagine your day if you practiced this. Instead of snapping at someone because you felt irritated, you would pause and say, I feel irritation right now. By noticing it, you separate yourself from it. And once you separate yourself from it, you are no longer controlled by it. You can choose how to respond. That choice is the difference between chaos and peace, between broken relationships and strong ones, between wasted time and progress. Letting go does not mean ignoring reality. If something needs to be addressed, address it. But address it from a place of clarity, not from emotional chaos. When you let go, you are not denying what you feel. You are refusing to let it run your life. That is emotional discipline. That is how you create balance in a world that constantly tries to pull you off center. Think about how much energy you've wasted in your life, replaying old arguments, regretting mistakes, or holding on to grudges. That energy could have been used to build, to grow, to love, to live. But instead, it was consumed by emotions that you refused to release. This is why learning to let go is not optional. It is essential if you want to live free. The truth is, you cannot stop feelings from showing up. You are human. You will feel anger, sadness, envy, fear, frustration, joy, love. That will never change. What you can change is your relationship with those feelings. Will you let them drag you around like a puppet, or will you notice them and let them pass? That decision shapes the quality of your entire life. There are simple practices that help you train this skill. One is mindfulness, paying attention to your thoughts without judgment. When sadness arises, say, I notice sadness. When stress arises, say, I notice stress. That little phrase creates distance. You are no longer the emotion. You are the observer of the emotion. That space gives you power. Another practice is writing. When you feel overwhelmed, put your feelings on paper. Do not censor them. Do not judge them. Just write. The act of putting them outside of your mind makes it easier to let go. You realize these emotions are not who you are. They are experiences, passing through. Also, move your body. Physical activity shifts your state and helps release trapped energy. Anger that feels heavy in your chest can dissolve after a run, a workout, or even a walk. The body and mind are connected. When you move, you create release, and letting go becomes easier. You must also be willing to forgive, not only others but yourself. Holding on to guilt, shame, and resentment poisons your mind. Forgiveness is not saying what happened was right. It is saying, I will not let this control me anymore. That is letting go, and it frees your energy for the future instead of chaining you to the past. Some will argue, but if I let go, people will think I don't care. The opposite is true. When you let go, you care in the right way. You respond wisely instead of reacting wildly. You create solutions instead of feeding problems. That is not indifference. That is strength. You deserve a life where you are not chained to every wave of emotion. You deserve the clarity that comes from being in charge of your own responses. You deserve the peace that comes when you refuse to carry unnecessary baggage. That life begins when you train your mind to notice feelings, acknowledge them, and then let them go. Do not wait for emotions to stop arriving. They never will. Train yourself to handle them differently. Train yourself to release instead of cling. Train yourself to move forward instead of staying stuck. This is how you build resilience. This is how you build inner power. Every day is a new chance to practice. The next time you feel anger, pause and name it. The next time you feel fear, acknowledge it without running. The next time sadness hits, sit with it until it softens. Then release it. With every practice, your mind becomes stronger. With every release, you gain freedom. So here is the call for you today. Stop being a prisoner of emotions you cannot control. Stop wasting years holding on to feelings that should have been released long ago. Notice what you feel. Learn from it. Then let it go and return to the life you are building. That is how you take your power back. That is how you rise above the chaos. And that is how you stop letting anything affect you. Number 5, refuse other people's drama and focus on your goals. You cannot afford to waste your one and only life living inside other people's drama. Every day you get pulled into conversations, arguments, gossip, and distractions that steal your time and energy, but none of them move you closer to where you want to be. The truth is simple yet hard to face. If you do not make a decision to step away from other people's chaos, you will drown in it, and your own goals will stay forever unfinished. That is why today you must decide to refuse the noise and commit to what really matters, your vision, your purpose, and your future. Think about the last time someone dragged you into their problems, their endless complaints, or their negativity. How did you feel afterward? Drained, frustrated, or even resentful? That is because drama is a thief. It takes your focus, it takes your peace, and it takes your momentum. If you let it, you'll look back years from now and realize you spent more time listening to someone else's stories than writing your own. You owe yourself better than that. Your goals are not optional. They are not background noise. They are the very reason you wake up with a desire to do more. Every time you give your attention to gossip or petty arguments, you are stealing from yourself. You are choosing their chaos over your own growth. And here's the uncomfortable truth. People who love drama will always find a way to pull you in. But you must ask yourself, do you value their endless noise more than your future success? Let me tell you, most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they get stuck in distractions that have nothing to do with their path. They want to achieve great things, but they spend their hours on meaningless conversations and toxic cycles that never end. They talk more about what others are doing than what they themselves are building. Do not let that be you. Protect your goals with the same seriousness you protect your health. Because if you lose focus, you lose momentum, and without momentum, dreams die slowly. I want you to imagine what your life could look like if you refused drama every single day. Imagine how much clearer your mind would feel. Imagine how much time you would reclaim. Imagine the progress you could make if your focus went fully into your goals, instead of being scattered across 10 different problems that are not even yours. The shift is massive. It is life-changing, and it is within your control. Now here is the reality. Refusing drama does not mean you stop caring about people. It does not mean you ignore everyone around you. It means you choose not to get stuck in their endless loops. You can love someone without carrying their chaos. You can support someone without letting their problems control your peace. It is about learning to say, that is not mine to fix, and walking away with clarity. Some of you are stuck because you are afraid of offending others. You think that if you stop engaging in their drama, you will lose their approval. But let me tell you, the approval of people who thrive on chaos is worthless. They want you there only because your attention fuels their cycle. When you step out, they may resist, they may criticize, but that is proof you made the right choice. The people who truly care about you will respect your focus and encourage your goals. Here's a powerful truth. Every yes you give to drama is a no to your dreams. Every argument you entertain, every complaint you absorb, every fight you join that is not yours. Those are minutes, hours, even days, stolen from your vision. Your life is too short to keep trading your time for nothing in return. You must decide what matters most, their noise or your future. And let me give you something practical. Create a filter for your attention. When someone comes to you with negativity, ask yourself, will this help me move closer to my goals? Or will this pull me further away? If it adds nothing, let it go. Protect your time like it is gold, because it is. Refuse to be available for every piece of gossip or every fight that has no real purpose. Direct that energy into learning, building, creating, and moving forward. That is how you stay free from drama. Life rewards the focused, not the distracted. The people who achieve greatness are not always the most talented, but they are the ones who learn how to cut out noise and stay locked in on their path. You must train yourself to be one of them. The moment you stop letting drama dictate your attention, you unlock power you did not know you had. You think clearer, act faster, and progress further, because nothing unnecessary is weighing you down. So today I challenge you. Take ownership of your focus. Refuse the drama. Walk away from the noise and put everything you've got into your goals. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone. You do not need to justify your silence. You only need to prove yourself through action, through consistency, and through the results you build with your hands. Let others talk while you work. Let others argue while you grow. Your discipline will become your freedom. This is your life, not a stage for other people's chaos. Do not waste it on drama that does not belong to you. Choose your goals, choose your peace, and choose your future. If you commit to this, your results will speak louder than any distraction ever could. Now the choice is yours. Will you keep feeding drama, or will you starve it and feed your goals? Refuse the drama, focus on your vision, and never look back, because your future depends on the decisions you make today. Number 6, set small daily wins to strengthen your confidence. You cannot wait for some big breakthrough to start believing in yourself, because confidence is not built in one giant leap. It is built in small steps that you take every single day. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they will feel confident once they achieve something huge, but the truth is the opposite. You only reach those big achievements by stacking small daily wins that strengthen your belief in what you can do. Confidence is not a gift, it is a result of action. And you can create it starting today. Think about it. How do you feel when you finish something simple like waking up on time, completing a workout, or sticking to a plan you made the night before? There is a small spark inside you, a quiet sense of pride, a reminder that you are capable. That spark is confidence being built. It does not require applause. It does not require approval. It only requires that you keep promises to yourself. Every time you follow through, even in small ways, you are proving to your own mind that you can be trusted. That is how unshakable confidence grows. The problem is, too many people wait for motivation to strike before they act. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect plan, or the perfect mood, but waiting destroys confidence. Confidence grows in action, not hesitation. When you choose to set one small goal each day and actually complete it, you silence doubt and give your mind proof that you can move forward even when you do not feel ready. Proof is what kills insecurity, and proof is built in those daily wins. Let's be honest, many of you have dreams that feel far away. You want a better career, stronger health, deeper relationships, or more financial freedom. But those big goals feel so overwhelming that you freeze. That is where small wins change everything. They break the mountain into steps you can actually climb. They keep you moving when your mind wants to quit. And when you start stacking them, you notice something powerful. You are not the same person anymore. You start walking taller, speaking clearer, and facing challenges with more strength. Because your confidence is no longer built on hope. It is built on proof. I want you to picture this. Every morning, you wake up and choose one action that matters. It might be reading 10 pages of a book that sharpens your mind. It might be cooking a healthy meal instead of grabbing junk food. It might be practicing gratitude for 5 minutes before you check your phone. None of these things feel massive in the moment, but together they change how you see yourself. They tell your brain, I do what I say, and that is the most powerful identity you can carry. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they stop believing in themselves. And the fastest way to rebuild belief is through daily wins. Think of confidence as a muscle. You cannot grow it by thinking about it. You grow it by using it. Every small task completed is like a rep in the gym. Over time, those reps add up to strength you never thought possible. And just like muscle, if you stop working it, it weakens. That is why consistency matters more than intensity. One win every day is stronger than a burst of effort, followed by weeks of nothing. Some of you might say, "But Jim, my goals are too big. These small wins won't matter." That's the trap. That thinking keeps you stuck. Big results are simply the outcome of small, consistent actions stacked over time. Show me a person who reached success, and I will show you a person who learned to build confidence by honoring small commitments daily. Nobody climbs to the top in one jump. They climb step by step, win by win, until the summit was in sight. Let's make this personal. Imagine you commit today to writing just one page for that book you want to publish, or making one sales call if you're building a business, or walking for 10 minutes if you're rebuilding your health. At first it looks too small to matter, but your brain starts to change. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who wants to do something, you start seeing yourself as someone who does. That shift in identity is where real confidence is born. And here is something you need to hear. You cannot outsource this. Nobody can build your confidence for you. People can cheer for you, encourage you, and push you. But until you put action behind your words, nothing will stick. Confidence is earned, not given. And the way you earn it is by winning small battles each day against procrastination, against fear, and against your own excuses. Every time you choose action over comfort, you are adding to your confidence account, and one day you look up and realize it's overflowing. I want you to remember how it feels to doubt yourself, because we have all been there, questioning if we are good enough, worrying about failing, feeling stuck in comparison with others. That pain is real, but you don't escape it by waiting for it to go away. You escape it by building small victories that give you solid ground to stand on. With each win, the voice of doubt gets quieter and the voice of belief gets louder. And when belief grows, fear loses its grip on you. So let's make this practical. Starting tonight, write down one thing you will do tomorrow. Not 10, not 5, just one. Complete it fully, no matter how small it feels. Then the next day, do the same. If you keep this up, 30 days from now, you will feel a shift. Not because your life magically transformed overnight, but because you trained your mind to trust you. And that trust is the root of confidence. This is not about perfection. It's about progress. You will slip, you will miss some days, but what matters is that you return and keep stacking wins. Do not underestimate the power of small steps. They look simple, but they reshape your identity and open doors to results you once thought were out of reach. Now I leave you with this choice. You can keep waiting for confidence to show up, or you can start building it today through small daily wins. The difference between the life you have and the life you want is luck. It is the discipline to keep moving forward one step at a time. Refuse to leave your confidence to chance. Take control, build it, strengthen it, and protect it by doing what you said you would do. Your future depends on the decisions you make today. So decide to take that first small win now. When you stack enough of them, you will be unstoppable. Number 7, protect your inner silence by limiting negative inputs. Your mind cannot grow strong if it is drowning in noise. And the greatest power you have today is the choice to protect your inner silence by limiting the negative inputs that steal your peace and weaken your focus. Most people don't even realize how much of their mood, their energy, and even their confidence is being shaped by the voices they allow into their lives. Voices from the television, from endless scrolling, from toxic conversations, from people who constantly complain and drain them. If you feed your mind with junk, it will produce junk in your life. If you guard your silence, it will produce clarity, strength, and direction. Think about how you feel after you spend hours listening to bad news, arguments, gossip, or criticism. There is tension in your body. Your shoulders feel heavy. Your thoughts spiral into frustration or anger. You feel restless and powerless. That is not an accident. That is the direct result of input. The mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it grows. If you plant negativity all day, you cannot expect peace at night. If you want to stop being shaken by every little thing, you must be bold enough to cut down the noise and reclaim your silence. Some of you are living in constant stress, not because of your own problems, but because you are carrying the weight of everyone else's negativity. You are absorbing arguments at work that have nothing to do with you. You are reacting to endless posts online that add no value to your life. You are listening to people who have no vision yet speak as though they hold all the answers. And every time you let that in, you weaken your ability to focus on your own goals. Protecting your silence is not selfish. It is necessary if you want to live a meaningful life. Ask yourself this: how many hours have you wasted in the last week consuming content that left you feeling worse, not better? How many conversations did you stay in when you knew they were draining your energy? How many times did you replay words from someone who does not even live your life? That time could have been used to build your skills, sharpen your mind, and fuel your dreams. But it was stolen because you allowed negativity to set up camp in your head. You need to set a guard at the door of your mind. That means being intentional about what you listen to, what you watch, and who you allow to speak into your life. Some of you need to turn the television. Some of you need to unfollow accounts that push fear and drama. Some of you need to walk away from friends who only criticize and never encourage. This is not about isolating yourself. This is about protecting the peace that gives you the strength to think clearly and act with purpose. When you choose silence, something powerful happens. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You notice what you truly want instead of what others are shouting at you. You begin to feel calmer, stronger, and more in control. You wake up with more focus because your mind is not cluttered with everyone else's noise. You feel lighter because you are no longer carrying the weight of negativity that was never yours to carry. I know some of you think, but Jim, I can't avoid negativity, it's everywhere. That's true. You cannot escape it completely, but you can control how much of it enters your life. You cannot stop someone from complaining, but you can decide not to join it. You cannot stop bad news from being reported, but you can decide how often you consume it. You cannot control every environment, but you can control your reaction. Protecting your silence is not about building walls. It is about choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Here is the reality. If you don't limit the negative inputs, you will never fully believe in yourself. Because every time you try to move forward, those negative voices will echo in your head. They will remind you of failure. They will magnify fear, and they will tell you to give up. But when you build silence inside, when you train yourself to quiet the noise, those voices lose their power. You stop reacting and start deciding. That is the difference between being controlled by life and taking control of it. Your silence is where your strength lives. It is in that silence where you reflect, where you plan, where you regain balance, where you remember your values. If you fill every quiet moment with noise, you rob yourself of the chance to grow. Many people are afraid of silence because it forces them to face themselves. But that is exactly why it is powerful. Silence shows you the truth about where you are and what needs to change. And that truth is what sets you free. If you want a life of peace, you must be ruthless about cutting out what disturbs it. If you want to feel strong, you must stop feeding your mind with weakness. If you want focus, you must reduce distractions. And if you want confidence, you must stop listening to voices that constantly bring doubt. The world is already loud enough. Your job is to create space within you that remains untouched by that noise. So I challenge you today to take one step to protect your silence. It might mean putting your phone away for the first hour of the morning. It might mean refusing to engage in gossip at work. It might mean turning off the news after 10 minutes. It might mean walking away from a conversation that adds no value. Start small, but be consistent. Every time you choose silence over noise, you reclaim a piece of your mind. This is not about living in denial. This is about living with strength. Because when your inner world is calm, you are not easily shaken by the storms outside. When you protect your silence, you become harder to influence, harder to discourage, and harder to distract. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. That is how you stop letting anything affect you. And remember, nobody will do this for you. You must decide what deserves space in your mind. You must decide which voices matter and which do not. You must decide when to engage and when to walk away. Protecting your silence is a choice, and every choice builds the life you live tomorrow. So choose wisely, choose peace, choose clarity, choose strength, and never hand over your silence to those who have done nothing to earn it. Your life will change the moment you take this seriously. And when you do, you will discover a power inside you that cannot be shaken by negativity, no matter where it comes from. Now tell me, are you ready to protect your silence starting today? Number 8, act on values, not feelings when pressure arrives. When pressure arrives and everything feels overwhelming, The worst mistake you can make is to let your feelings take the driver's seat. Because feelings are unstable, but values give you direction and power to stand strong no matter what storm you face. Feelings are temporary. They rise and fall with circumstances, but values remain steady like an anchor that holds you in place. The reason many people collapse under pressure is not because they are weak, but because they never learned how to live by values when emotions scream the loudest. If you want to stop letting anything control you, you must learn to act on values, not feelings. Think about the last time pressure hit you. Maybe it was a financial crisis. Maybe it was a betrayal. Maybe it was stress from work or a challenge in your family. What did your feelings tell you to do? Maybe they told you to give up, to lash out, to run away, or to hide. But ask yourself this: did those choices help you, or did they make things worse? That's what feelings often do under pressure. They push you toward short-term relief, but long-term regret. Acting on values does the opposite. It may not feel easy in the moment, but it leads to strength, respect, and progress that lasts. The truth is, you cannot trust your feelings when the heat is on, because they exaggerate reality. Fear makes problems look bigger than they are. Anger convinces you to say things you'll regret. Doubt whispers that you're not capable, even when you are. Pressure distorts your vision, and if you act from that distortion, you end up digging yourself deeper. That's why values matter. Values give you clarity when emotions blur your judgment. Values are the principles you decide to live by, no matter what. Honesty, discipline, loyalty, respect, growth. These are examples. Values are chosen, not given. And once you decide your values, they guide your actions, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline, for example, means you show up even when you're tired. Integrity means you tell the truth even when lying seems easier. Commitment means you keep your word even when quitting feels tempting. That's the power of values. They make you reliable, consistent, and trustworthy, even in the toughest moments. Picture someone who loses their temper at the smallest pressure. They damage relationships, burn bridges, and create chaos. Why? Because they acted on feelings. Now picture someone who faces the same pressure but chooses to respond with patience, clarity, and calm. People respect them, they trust them, and they follow them. The difference is not in the circumstances. The difference is in what guided the response, feelings or values. Some people think that living by values means ignoring feelings. That's not true. Feelings are signals, but they are not commands. You acknowledge them, but you don't bow down to them. You can feel air without becoming destructive. You can feel fear without becoming paralyzed. You can feel sadness without giving up. The power is in choosing your response based on values, not on the emotion of the moment. Let me tell you, pressure is the ultimate test of who you are. When things are easy, anyone can act strong. But when pressure comes, only those anchored in values hold steady. If you value self-control, you will not let rage destroy you. If you value discipline, you will not let laziness stop you. If you value growth, you will not let fear block you. The choices you make under pressure are the choices that define your character. Now let's make this personal. Imagine you're in a heated argument with someone you care about. Your feelings push you to raise your voice, to say words that cut deep. But if you live by the value respect, you stop yourself, you lower your tone, and you focus on resolving instead of destroying. That one choice protects the relationship and strengthens your character. Another example, imagine your goals require hard work, but you wake up tired and unmotivated. Your feelings tell you to stay in bed, but your value of discipline tells you to get up and follow the plan. Which decision builds your future? It's clear, the one guided by value. The reason many people feel stuck in life is because they let feelings dictate their decisions. They chase motivation instead of building discipline. They let fear block opportunities. They let anger create regrets. They let sadness keep them stagnant. But when you build your life around values, you take control back. You stop waiting for feelings to align, and you start moving forward no matter how you feel. That's how progress is made. Here's the beautiful thing. The more you practice acting on values, the stronger you become. At first, it's hard, because feelings are loud and persuasive. But every time you choose values, you build mental toughness. You create a pattern your mind can trust. Over time, pressure no longer rattles you the way it used to, because you know how to respond. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. That's when you become unshakable. Some of you are tired of being tossed around by emotions. You're tired of saying things you don't mean, making choices you regret, and feeling powerless under pressure. That ends when you decide your values. Don't wait until the storm comes to figure them out. Write them down today. Decide what matters most to you. Then practice living by them in small situations. So when big pressure comes, you are ready. It may not always feel comfortable, but remember this. Feelings are temporary. Values are permanent. Feelings fade. Values stay. Feelings are influenced by the moment. Values are chosen for a lifetime. When you act on values, you are building a life of stability, strength, and respect. And when people see that in you, they trust you, they follow you, and they admire you. But most importantly, you begin to respect yourself. Because you know you're not being controlled by whatever emotion happens to show up. So the next time pressure hits, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what do my values tell me to do here? Then act on that answer. Not on the wave of emotion. You will not always get it perfect. But with practice, you will get stronger. And each time you choose values over feelings, you build a foundation that nothing can shake. Remember, greatness is not built on feelings, it is built on principles. Success is not the reward of emotion, it is the reward of discipline, integrity, and persistence. If you want a life that lasts, if you want confidence that cannot be broken, then you must make values your compass in every situation. Your future is being shaped right now by how you handle pressure. Will you let feelings dictate your path? Or will you rise above and choose values? The decision is yours, and it is the difference between staying ordinary or becoming extraordinary. Act on values, not feelings, and watch your life transform into something stronger, clearer, and more powerful than you ever imagined. Number 9, release past hurts by speaking truth and forgiving yourself. You will never feel free until you face the truth about your past and forgive yourself for the pain you've been carrying for too long. The chains holding you back are not the mistakes you made or the wrongs done to you by others. It is the silence, the denial, and the refusal to let go. You have been holding on to memories that cut you deeply, words that broke your spirit, and choices that still haunt you. And every day you drag that weight into the present. The problem is not that the past happened. The problem is that you keep living in it. Some of you wake up each morning replaying the same hurtful scene over and over, almost as if punishing yourself will somehow undo it. Some of you smile on the outside while inside you are still bleeding from wounds that no one sees. And others of you know the truth, but you bury it under distraction, hoping time alone will heal it. Yet years pass and the pain still feels fresh. This is why you feel stuck, because you cannot build a new future while clinging to an old wound. The first step to healing is speaking the truth, not hiding it. Silence is poison when it comes to pain. What you refuse to say continues to grow in the dark, gaining power over you. But when you speak truth, when you admit what happened, when you acknowledge how it hurts you, when you stop pretending you are fine, that is when you take your power back. Speaking truth is not about blaming. It is about releasing. You cannot heal from what you deny. You cannot forgive what you refuse to face. Now hear me clearly. This does not mean you need to announce your story to the whole world. It means you need to stop lying to yourself. Stop saying it didn't matter when it did. Stop telling yourself you've moved on when you haven't. Stop pretending you've forgiven when deep down you're still bitter. Honesty is not weakness. It is strength. Speaking truth is not reopening wounds. It is beginning the process of closing them the right way. But truth alone is not enough. You must also forgive yourself. This is where so many people stay trapped, because they are willing to forgive others, but not themselves. They keep replaying the mistake, the failure, the wrong choice, the missed opportunity, the shameful moment. They keep holding themselves hostage to something they cannot go back and change. Do you realize how unfair that is? You are expecting yourself to be perfect when perfection was never possible. Forgiveness is not about saying it didn't matter. It is about saying, it will not control you anymore. You made mistakes. Yes. You hurt others. Yes. You disappointed yourself. Yes. But punishing yourself forever will not undo it. Forgiveness is the decision to stop reliving the pain. It is telling yourself, I was human, I failed, but I will not let that failure define who I am becoming. That is freedom. Think about this. If you had a friend who was struggling, who made a mistake, would you keep reminding them of how badly they messed up every single day? Would you keep telling them they are unworthy and broken? Of course not. But you do that to yourself. You replay your failures in your mind and call it accountability. But it is not accountability, it is self-destruction. Accountability admits the mistake and makes change. Self-destruction keeps punishing long after the lesson has been learned. The real transformation begins when you give yourself permission to move on. Some of you have been carrying guilt for years that should have expired long ago. Some of you still see yourself through the lens of the worst day of a life, instead of seeing the strength it took to survive that day. Some of you live trapped in the shadow of someone else's choices, replaying their betrayal, their abuse, their rejection, as if it defines your worth. It doesn't. The only thing that defines you now is what you choose to do today. Forgiving yourself does not mean you stop learning. It means you stop suffering unnecessarily. It means you stop letting the past steal the joy of the present. It means you accept that what is done, and you choose to build differently from this moment forward. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of courage, because it requires facing the truth and releasing the pain. That is not weakness, that is strength. You may say, "But Jim, it's not that easy. The pain feels too deep." I understand. Some hurts take time. But here is the truth. You will never heal by waiting. Healing comes by action. Speak the truth even if your voice shakes. Forgive yourself even if your heart resists. Every day you practice this, you weaken the grip of the past. And one day you wake up realizing the burden has lifted. You realize the memory no longer controls you. The guilt no longer defines you. The shame no longer chains you. You owe it to yourself to stop living as a prisoner of yesterday. You owe it to yourself to release the bitterness, the guilt, the regret. You cannot create a future worth living if you are still dragging the vague weight of the past. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped rehearsing old wounds and started creating new victories. Imagine the energy you would gain if you stopped fighting yourself and started supporting yourself. Imagine the freedom you would feel if you forgave yourself as much as you forgave others. And let me tell you this, you deserve that freedom. You are not meant to carry endless punishment. You are not meant to remain trapped in shame. You are meant to learn, to grow, to rise, to move forward. Forgiveness is the door, and you hold the key. Nobody else can do this for you. Nobody else can give you the release you've been craving. It must come from you, and it starts when you speak truth and let yourself off the hook. So today, I challenge you. Stop running from your past. Stop burying your truth. Stop punishing yourself for what you cannot undo. Instead, face it, speak it, own it, and then forgive yourself completely. That is how you break free. That is how you reclaim your peace. That is how you finally step into the future with strength instead of chains. You are stronger than your past. You are bigger than your mistakes. You are more than the hurt you endured. The moment you release the weight, you will rise higher than you ever thought possible. Number 10, focus on solutions, not problems, and move forward. Your life will never move forward if you spend all your time staring at problems instead of looking for solutions, because problems are traps that keep your mind busy without producing results. But solutions are keys that open doors you thought were locked forever. The moment you stop obsessing over what went wrong, what you cannot control, or what others did to you, is the moment you start taking real action toward the life you deserve. Every person who achieves greatness learned this truth. Focusing on solutions moves you forward. Focusing on problems keeps you stuck. Think about it for a moment. How many hours have you spent worrying about situations you cannot change? How many sleepless nights have been filled with thoughts about mistakes, conflicts, failures? That energy was meant to build something powerful in your life. But instead it was wasted rehearsing the same frustrations over and over. The mind is like water. It takes the shape of the container you give it. If you fill it with problems, it stagnates. If you fill it with solutions, it flows and produces life. Some of you may feel overwhelmed because the challenges in your life are real. Maybe your finances are tight. Maybe a relationship is broken. Maybe a career opportunity was lost. But notice this. Worrying about these problems does not fix them. Complaining about them does not fix them. Analyzing them endlessly does not fix them. The only thing that fixes them is action based on solutions. And action always begins in your mind before it shows up in the world. Solutions are not always obvious, and that is where most people fail. They see a problem, feel frustrated, and freeze because they think they must have the perfect answer immediately. But moving forward does not require perfection. Moving forward requires clarity and a willingness to act. Even small steps that point toward a solution are more powerful than 1,000 hours spent worrying. Progress comes from direction, not from dwelling on what is wrong. Imagine two people facing the same problem. One person obsesses, complains, and waits for the perfect moment. The other person thinks, what can I do right now to improve this? The first person wastes time, energy, and hope. The second person takes one small action, then another, and eventually the problem diminishes because they focused on the solution instead of feeding the frustration. That is the difference between stagnation and success. You must understand something crucial. Problems are part of life. They will never stop. But solutions are always available if you are willing to look for them. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. The power to act, the power to change your circumstances, and the power to move forward resides within you. Every solution starts with your decision to stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on what you can do. Here is a strategy you can use today. When a problem arises, pause and write down 3 possible actions you can take. No matter how small, no matter how imperfect, write them down. Then choose the one that makes the most sense and take action immediately. Do not overthink. Action produces results. Results produce confidence, and confidence produces momentum. Momentum is what keeps you moving forward even when the problems are still present. Some of you are trapped because you believe that thinking hard about a problem is the same as solving it. That is false. Thinking about a problem without creating a plan is procrastination. It may feel productive, but it accomplishes nothing. Real productivity is solution-oriented. Real power is directed at improvement, not rumination. The mind is strongest when it focuses on what can be done, not what went wrong. Let's make this personal. Perhaps your career is stalled, and you feel stuck in a job that offers no growth. The problem is clear. You could spend every day complaining, blaming your boss, blaming the economy, blaming luck. That is easy, but it leads nowhere. The solution-focused path is harder, but it works. Update your skills, reach out to mentors, explore new opportunities, build your network, and take concrete steps that inch you closer to a better situation. Every small action compounds. Every solution-focused step moves you forward. Another truth is that problems often trigger fear, doubt, and anxiety. That is natural, but fear is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to think strategically. When pressure mounts, your emotions try to convince you to freeze or run. But focusing on solutions allows you to rise above fear. It shifts your energy from reaction to creation. It reminds you that no matter how bad the problem looks, there is always something you can do to improve it. That shift in mindset is life-changing. It is also important to act quickly. Solutions lose power when delayed. The longer you wait, the more the problem grows in your mind. Procrastination magnifies frustration, increases stress, and reduces hope. The fastest path forward is to identify one action you can take today, no matter how small, and do it. Each step builds confidence. Each step diminishes fear, and each step reinforces the habit of moving forward. Many people feel trapped because they equate focusing on problems with responsibility. They think analyzing every detail is being diligent. It is not. Responsibility is measured by the solutions you create, not the problems you can describe. Every minute you spend explaining why something went wrong is a minute you could spend doing something right. Action creates control, and control eliminates the helpless feeling that problems feed. You may ask, what if my solution fails? Failure is not the enemy. Stagnation is the enemy. Every attempt at a solution teaches you something. Every action gives you insight. Even when the first approach does not work, your mind learns, your confidence grows, and your ability to handle challenges improves. The path forward is rarely perfect, but moving is always better than remaining stuck. Ultimately, your ability to focus on solutions instead of problems determines the quality of your life. People who dwell on problems live in frustration, resentment, and stagnation. People who focus on solutions live in progress, growth, and empowerment. The choice is simple but profound. You can stay in the trap of complaining, or you can act, solve, and move forward. The first keeps you a prisoner. The second makes you unstoppable. Today, decide to act. Identify the problems in your life that are holding you back. Then immediately choose one solution to implement. Commit to taking consistent steps each day. Stop thinking about what went wrong and start thinking about what you can do right now. Your life will change when you shift your energy from problem-focused to solution-focused. You are stronger than your obstacles. You are capable of change. You have the power to create results. Focus on solutions. Take action and move forward without hesitation. The life you want is not waiting for perfect circumstances. It is waiting for your decision to focus on what matters and take the steps that make progress inevitable. Your future depends on how you respond today. Do not let problems define you. Let solutions guide you. Start now, take action, and watch your life move forward with clarity, purpose, and unstoppable momentum.